Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? It is your boy out here, CJ the DJ, coming to you live with a brand new episode of Hustle and Burn. As always, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, hope everybody had a great week. Hopefully, we can end it off right, you dig? Man, oh man. Shout out to our sponsors, guys, Diamond Consulting. For any general contractors out there in the Front Range, Colorado area that may need or utilize subcontractors in any different scopes of work, guys, for your new builds, remodels, renovations, contact Diamond Consulting. What they do and what they have is a private network of fully insured, pre-vetted subcontractors looking to actually grow and scale their companies. So contact Diamond Consulting today, guys, 720-563-7452. We got so much to get into today, man. So we gonna get right into it. Probably the biggest news in the sports world this week. Old timer Billy Belichick taking the job, heading to North Carolina, UNC, which is mostly known as a basketball school. He will now be taking over the football program, operating it as he pleases. Now, this is, really coming on the heels after struggling post Brady in New England, and Brady going on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and kind of, the who it really was in New England conversation, right? That was always the thing. Is it Bill Belichick's coaching, or is it Tom Brady just being so stellar, right, at quarterback and at that position that they just won so many games, they won so many championships because of it, right? And a lot of the narrative, due to the success that Brady had after the New England departure with Tampa Bay, was that it was Brady and it was Belichick. So, I think this is a little bit of an FU to the NFL because his coaching options were limited in the NFL. I think he felt a bit disrespected by that, and kind of caught off guard and off kilter, if you will, by not really having a position and not really having teams throwing the checkbook or, jumping out to try and get Bill Belichick. I think a lot of people were surprised. So, now he takes on UNC, and this is really promising, honestly, to build on an NFL career. And what Belichick said is he intends to operate the UNC football program as an NFL program. And similar to something you see like Deion Sanders at Alabama, is the goal is any player that comes through my program is going to have the opportunity to play, is going to have the opportunity to get better, but ultimately is going to be NFL ready and NFL league ready. So again, similar to what you see with Deion Sanders, similar to what you used to see with Coach Saban at Alabama, is you're going to come into my program and I'm going to get you ready to play in the NFL, but you're going to have to put in the work. And it is what it is. So, I think that's a great thing for college football overall. I mean, having Bill Belichick in there, UNC is going to be on TV more. They're going to land a couple big games next year just because people want to coach against Belichick and, get one under the belt saying that they beat him, right? But, I think reports especially say with this deal that he was done, this is not confirmed, guys, but reports are alleging that part of this structure, on top of essentially complete control while the time he's there, is that when he decides to depart from UNC, Bill Belichick's son will be first in line to take over. And so, I see the setup realistically. That's a great thing for him to do. Go there, set the foundation up for the next 3 to 5 years, and then your son takes your place and begins his head coaching career. So, kudos and W to Bill Belichick, man. If you really look at, his potential NFL landing jobs for, next season, because he wasn't signed to a team this season, it's pretty scarce and limited, guys. Let's go through the teams that he potentially, and this is unconfirmed, of course, for some of these teams, but essentially could have went to. We're really talking about the New York Giants, the New York Jets, potentially the Jacksonville Jaguars, potentially the Las Vegas Raiders, potentially the Dallas Cowboys, and potentially the Tennessee Titans. If not, potentially the Cincinnati Bengals, who may not be able to re-sign Jamar Chase. He may just hold out, right? So, beyond the big markets in New York, beyond the Dallas Cowboy big market, nothing stands out. The New York Giants are in a rebuild. The New York Jets are in a rebuild. Even the Cowboys are in a rebuild. So for Bill Belichick, that's not enticing, right? It's not really enticing to go rebuild an organization. I rather just go to UNC and start something brand new and fresh. right? Like, I think that's really, again, what you see, and what's going to happen is you're going to see maybe one down year, but you're going to start to see what happened with Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. My Colorado Buffaloes is, you're going to have a down year, but as soon as you get a full year of your own recruits in there, it's up, man. You're going to be in the talk. You're going to be the talk of the chat, the talk of the town, the talk of the nation, man. And that's what you're about to see. So, again, W to Bill Belichick, man. Great to see him. He just wants to coach, and I love to see that. Some more old-timer news, some old-timers in the game here of the world that we live in. Donald Trump, man. We haven't talked much about Trump. I try and keep it, as non-political as possible on the podcast, just because I know people have their opinions these days. But Donald Trump was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2024, man. This comes off the heels of him facing felony charges, him essentially being canceled, not being able to be on social media platforms for quite some time, surviving multiple assassination attempts. He comes back, guys, to win the Electoral College vote and the popular vote. Love him or hate him, it's an unprecedented comeback at the highest level that we have never seen. And so, love him or hate him, guys, that's why you see Donald Trump winning the Times Magazine Person of the Year for 2024. Guys, everyone thought after his presidency, everyone thought, especially after he lost the last election, he's done. Especially after all the charges that came on him. There's no more that he can do. He's going to go bankrupt. It's done. And now you see him. 47. All right? So, hey, love him or hate him, man. You gotta, respect what Donald Trump has done over the last 6 to 12 months, man. And hopefully he follows through on his promises. That's all we can really do, essentially, anytime that we get these new politicians in here, man. You know what I mean? But Times Magazine Person of the Year 2024, man. Now, I bring up the Trumps. I do want to, throw in a little conspiracy theory here for the chat. Something for y'all to sit on your head tops with, man. Now, back in the day, guys, there was a gentleman, mad scientist, genius at the highest level. His name was Nikola Tesla, guys. This is one of the greatest minds in history. He discovered free energy grids, and allegedly had formulas potentially for time travel and things of that nature. Now, about 50 to 70% of today's technology that we are still utilizing, both cell phones, computers, even AI, even our energy, resources, stuff like that, guys, derives from Nikola Tesla's research. All right. Now, Tesla passed away, guys, in 1943. Okay. Now, at the time of his passing, the OFAC, which is the Office of Alien Property Custodian, all right, seized his assets to ensure that they didn't pose any national security threats. Okay. Now, why I bring this up, guys, is Nikola Tesla's family has always alleged that there was missing documents, missing research, things like that. They claim when they showed up. So they were alongside OFAC, the Office of Alien Property and Custodian. They claim that when they walked in Nikola Tesla's hotel room that he passed away with, it was already ransacked prior to them getting there, and there were key items missing. Now, interesting thing about this story, guys, all right? The person tasked with retrieving Nikola Tesla's work was a man and a gentleman named John G. Trump. Now, that is Donald Trump's uncle, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And why I bring this up and kind of this conspiracy theory up, guys, all right, is, John G. Trump is allegedly one of the first individuals, if not the first individual on the scene. Okay. Why I bring this up is, again, that is Donald Trump, our current sitting president's uncle. Now, interestingly enough, guys, the Trump family prior to this was relatively unknown. They were not a wealthy nor a prominent family in the United States in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Now, they rose to prominence after John G. Trump goes and seizes Nikola Tesla's assets, which they claim were potential time travel, which they claim were free energy, many different things that this guy came up with, invented, and discovered. Okay. So, interestingly enough, guys, again, the Trump family was not very well known at the time during 1943, but again rose to prominence after. Now there is a book, guys, written in 1893, so this is prior to Nikola Tesla's passing, and this book is about a character named Baron Trump. All right, this is a boy who explores underground societies using a guidebook that was given to him by his mentor. His mentor's name in the book is Don. Sound familiar? Donald Trump. Now, on top of that, Donald Trump's son's name is Baron Trump. Now, I pose the question, guys, pose the conspiracy, of course. Could Tesla's discoveries have potentially unlocked something that the Trumps have utilized to their advantage over the course of the last 80 years since this has happened, since the 40s? Okay. Again, John G. Trump goes in. This is not a prominent family in the United States. After he goes in and retrieves and takes Nikola Tesla's discoveries and potentially doesn't turn over all of them, uses them to his advantage, his family now begins to rise up. Don Trump, okay, is the president, the most prominent figure. His son's name is Baron Trump, who is the most prominent figure in this book from 1893. 1893, that goes over time travel, and this character Baron's process through underground societies, dealing with different entities, things of that nature. I don't know, guys. Obviously just a theory, but worth thinking about, man. Very, very interesting. And you know, I just think, you know, again, got to look into those things, guys. I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist. Anyone that knows me knows I love a good conspiracy, but I also like getting to the bottom of it. Unfortunately, you know, something like that we may never be able to get to the bottom of, but at the end of the day, still had to bring it up, drop it on your head tops, man. Continuing to chat about the Trumps, guys, we are going to go into the investment wrap-up of the week here. Eric Trump, guys. Eric Trump has announced that U.S.-based cryptocurrencies will be tax-free on unrealized gains, okay? Now, that is huge news, guys, for U.S. cryptocurrency holders. Bitcoin may be at 100K, but as we mentioned last pod, it is not too late to get into this stuff, okay? And so, at the end of the day, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Cardano, those are, you know, kind of the 5 big guys there that will be tax-free on unrealized gains for United States investors, guys. That is from the mouth of Eric Trump, talking about what his father plans to do in the cryptocurrency world. So, you know, again, guys, Bitcoin may be at 100K, but it is not at all too late to get in. Something I wanted to chat about this week with you guys was a simple thing: dollar cost averaging. I think this is key for a lot of us small-time investors, guys. Dollar cost averaging is where you invest a set amount weekly, monthly, whatever the case may be, but on a consistent basis, no matter what the price is. Regardless of what the price of that stock or that crypto may be on this date per month or this day per week or this day every week, you are investing X amount, guys. Now, over time, guys, what this does is this strategy essentially lowers your average cost per share, right? So as it fluctuates and goes up and down, you're getting these prices at these prices. So if it skyrockets, well, your average price is still down here, right? As it continues to rise, your average price, you're just getting in at certain price levels, right? Along the way and along the ride, whether it's up, whether it's down. So again, it brings your average cost per share down over time, guys. And, you know, I think 2025 is really a setup year for a strong portfolio in 2026 through 2028 while Trump's president. We're going to use on the pod, guys, me personally, for those that are going to follow me along with this, we're going to use the stocks to stay consistent in the portfolio and build the foundation of the portfolio. The stocks are the long-term things, the long-term companies that we want to invest in and stay consistent with. Then we're going to use the crypto, all right, to try and get bigger gains in shorter amount of times, all right? Those are the more high-risk plays. But what we're going to do is we're going to invest in those big 5 cryptos I just mentioned: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, and XLM over the course of this year. Now, after this year, guys, what we are going to do is begin taking profits. We're going to begin utilizing those profits to invest in smaller meme coins. Those are the more high, fluctuation and volatile plays that you see a lot of these crypto millionaires getting in, right? Someone buys Dogecoin for a penny and it goes up to $1. They own 10,000 of those, and you know what I mean, right? So you see where it can go, guys. So what we're going to do is we are just going to use dollar cost averaging along the way during 2025, both for cryptos and for stocks. We're going to set our foundation. Along the way, this year, we may start pulling profits from cryptos to invest some in meme coins, depending on how much we're putting in, depending on how much profit we gain, if we make the right plays, which I know I'm gonna. All right. And if you follow along, I would hope that you do too, man. So, we're going to get into this. I will keep continuing to talk about cryptos. I am not going to get into specific strategies on the pods. I may make midweek pods if I really feel strongly about something for you guys just to follow along with. I know there's been a couple people in my close circle that I've really been getting into it with about these things and about, what we're going to do in the future and just building our wealth overall, guys. That's a big thing I always talk about. Everyone who knows me knows that, I'm big on gaining my personal wealth and making sure that I'm doing what I need to do to get to where I need to be and the goal that I have of success in the future. And I think that, these investments, guys, are going to be and play a big factor. Okay, we cannot just continue to work and work and work and hope that our money from working and saving up in the bank account is doing something. It's not. It's not going to do anything for you. You're going to end up saving up 10, 20,000 and then going and putting that 20,000 on a down payment. Now you're right back to square one, but of course you have a house. It's an asset, but at the end of the day, it isn't a cash flowing asset. We need cash flowing assets. So what I want you guys to do on top of looking up the Barron and Donald Trump conspiracy surrounding Nikola Tesla, look that up, Nikola Tesla conspiracy, after this pod. But I also want you guys to go doing a little bit of research or as much research as you want, guys, on dollar cost averaging. Okay, go look at dollar cost averaging, guys, and make sure you do a little bit of research. That way, by the time we start putting out these plays and, I start posting them, sending them to people who request them and may be interested in them, you can already know what you're doing, guys, and you can make sure you have that set amount. So dollar cost averaging, I want you to research, and Nikola Tesla conspiracy, I want you guys to research, man. Now, let's get into the Fried Award of the week. This is actually a third thing I'm going to want y'all to look up because this is treacherous, man. The Fried Award of the week, ladies and gentlemen, goes to Ice Spice. Ice Spice, man. Ice Spice has had an absolutely dramatic weight loss that has sparked extreme controversy in the music world. She went from being the twerking queen to we don't know if she can even twerk at this point. All right, like we don't even know. She done hopped on Ozempic and this weight loss drug that all these people in Hollywood and all these high level figures have allegedly hopped on. And man, she looks crazy, guys. If you look at her last December compared to this December, it is absolutely ridiculous. So the Fried Award of the week goes to Ice Spice for losing all her healthy weight, man, and leaving fans stunned. She looks ridiculous. Go look that up right now while you're listening to the rest of the pod, man, because this is just treacherous, guys. Now, let's get into some NFL. The not-for-long league, man. Gonna go over a couple quick big news and stories in the NFL this week. Recently, Odell Beckham and the Miami Dolphins have agreed to mutually part ways. This allows Odell to now go ring chase somewhere else, which I'm sure he's going to do. He's going to go look at the top 5 picks in the NFL and see who wants to re-sign him for a minimum so he can try and go chase another ring. Huge news there. Really not huge news, though. Odell's not making much of an impact on a team these days. He's really lost the step since the multiple knee injuries. And, you hate to see it, man. You do hate to see it. But shout out to Odell. Shout out to the Dolphins, giving him his release, which it sounds like he wanted. Obviously, he received his last Los Angeles Rams, his last contract, about $6.5 million in Bitcoin. That has now went up. So that's probably part of his, acceptance of a release as well. he probably doubled or tripled his investment realistically, that the Rams gave him of 6.5 mil. It's definitely probably worth at least 10 to 12 million now. So he kind of doubled up on his bag. Kudos to him for doing that. Huge news there. More news in the NFL, guys. The 49ers have parted ways with Devion Campbell, who refused to go into the game on Sunday after losing his starting role. And I think, in my opinion, guys, looking at him, a veteran who lost his starting role, he's kind of lost the step. He doesn't want to accept it. It's a reminder to me that, like LeBron James this week stepped away from the Los Angeles Lakers for personal reasons, okay? These vets sometimes, guys, just need to accept when their time is past. And with 4 weeks left in the season, I just don't see why you would leave the team like that. Now, he has now been released. Same with LeBron James. We're so early on in the season. You're going to leave the team for personal reasons just because you're playing bad. It is such a bad look, guys. Absolutely horrible look. It makes your team respect you less, whether you believe it or not, whether you're the king letBron James or you're Devion Campbell with the San Francisco 49ers. Terrible looks, man. But again, with 4 weeks left in the season, guys, let's begin to take a look at the playoff picture here. We are going to kick it off with the AFC. In the AFC, number 1 seed right now, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. They have clinched the playoff spot. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. They clinch with a win this weekend. So hopefully they can get a W to clinch playoff spot. 3rd spot in the AFC, the Steelers. All right, that is crazy. They are leading the AFC North. 4th spot is the Texans. Still a little bit skeptical on the Texans. I feel like they've taken a step back from last season, which is kind of crazy, but really the injury bug just bit them early on in the season. So it isn't too late to make a run. These last 4 weeks are crucial to build momentum for the playoffs. So, again, 4th spot, we got the Texans. 5th spot, we have the Baltimore Ravens that are battling for the AFC North with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is the Baltimore Ravens in the 5th spot. 6th spot, guys, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Their defense is strong, but I think the offense needs work. And then the 7th and final playoff spot right now in the AFC is held by the Denver Broncos, the Donkeys. Now, I also think, similar to the Los Angeles Chargers, they have a good defense, but the offense kind of limits them, realistically speaking, in these big moments and big games here. But in the AFC, guys, I am actually going to pick the Buffalo Bills. Right now, my pick for the AFC is the Buffalo Bills. They always struggle against the Chiefs in those crucial games, but I think this year they get over the hump. Everyone thought Stephon Diggs was, going to leave a hole, but it has actually assisted them completely. Josh Allen spreads the ball a lot more to many different pieces. James Cook is playing great. Josh Allen is playing great. So I got the Buffalo Bills coming out of the AFC. I do think the Steelers are going to make a good run. I think that is your AFC championship game, is the Buffalo Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, that is the AFC. Now, I do want to give a shout out to the AFC West, man. AFC West has 3 teams right now out of 4 in primary, firmly in the playoff picture and positions, guys. The only team the AFC West is missing is the Raiders, man. The Raiders. And speaking of the Raiders, in fact, Shedeur Sanders was actually spotted with Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors in Times Square, just playing pass, man. So we got to keep an eye on that. We got to keep an eye on that and where the New York Giants land, guys. Right now, they currently do hold the number 2 pick, but again, depending on what happens over the course of the next few weeks, they could get the 1 pick and take Shedeur, or potentially the Raiders get the number 1 pick and take Shedeur, man. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting between the Raiders and Giants, but obviously they're both vying for Shedeur Sanders. They both want Shedeur Sanders, but we'll see, man. Now we're going to flip to the NFC, man. The NFC, guys, playoff picture. In the 1st spot, we have the Detroit Lions. Dominating, man. Dominating. The word that I've been using over the last couple weeks on the pod and just in my circles and conversations about the NFL is generational, man. This looks like a generational team. They have so many pieces. It's ridiculous. The number 2 spot in the playoff picture right now is the Philadelphia Eagles. They do have a playoff spot clinched, but internal issues could hurt them in the long run. We chatted about that on the Quick Burn. If you haven't seen it yet, go peep that. They got some internal issues between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Obviously, Nick Sirianni has had internal issues in the past, losing the locker room at times. So we'll see what happens with the Eagles, but they have clinched the playoff spot in the number 2 position right now in the NFC. Number 3 in the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks. They are leading the NFC West. Honestly, don't have much faith in them guys in any way, shape, or form. Number 4 spot is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are leading the NFC South, which is the weakest division in football. That is the Panthers, the Buccaneers, the Saints, and Panthers, Buccaneers, Saints, and the Falcons. And the Falcons, man. Worst division in the NFL, but the Buccaneers are in the 4th spot leading that division. 5th spot right now is the Vikings, who are crazy enough in 11-2, man. It is absolutely ridiculous that they are back in the 5th spot, but that's the way things shake out with these terrible divisions, man. Some of these teams sneak in and get lucky. So 5th spot belongs to the Minnesota Vikings. 6th spot belongs to the Green Bay Packers at 9-4. They're in the mix, but they're kind of fading off this season in comparison to last season, similar to the Texans, right? Kind of have taken a step back, it seems like, so we'll see. And then the final spot right now in the NFC playoff picture is held, guys, by the Washington Commanders. Now, I think they are going to make the playoffs. They are in the playoff hunt, of course, but I do not think they're ready for a deep run. They have taken a couple steps back over the last couple weeks, man, but, you know, I just don't think they're ready. I still think they're about 1 to 2 seasons away from being, you know, a real playoff contender. All right, we'll see. We'll see, and we'll chat a little bit more about that. But, again, I got the Detroit Lions coming out of the NFC. I actually have the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills. So that is my pick for the Super Bowl as of right now. The Detroit Lions versus the Buffalo Bills. And I think the Detroit Lions win and take that over, man. So, you know, I think Detroit just has all the pieces. Their defense just needs a little bit more consistency, holding teams to a little bit less points. And I think we see the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl over the Buffalo Bills, man. Now, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I know why most of y'all come to the pod every week, the NFL picks. Now, of course, we want to first give a shout out to our sponsors, guys. ORSBC Denver, Original Raider Soldier Booster Club Denver, guys. This is a Raiders club. They get together every weekend, every Sunday, or any day that the Raiders have a game. They won't be there on this Monday night for the Monday night game, but most times, guys, they are getting together at Play Ball Sports Bar and Grill down in Lakewood. An amazing crowd, guys. They got newer generation, older generation as well. We all come together. We all have a good time. They keep it fun. They keep it respectful. So even if you're not a Las Vegas Raiders fan, come on down, man. Have some fun with ORSBC. Follow them on Instagram, guys. ORSBC.Denver. Let's get into these NFL picks of the week, guys. You know how we do. We got the lock of the week. Now, at the time of this bet, guys, the lock of the week was plus 214 odds. Okay, these are never financial advice. Go do your own research. You want to bet. But I just like these odds. I like these picks. So hopefully you're telling me. If you do tell me, make sure you send me the picks if we hit so I can post you and shout you out, man. Lock of the week, guys. First leg of the lock of the week, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking a win over the Tennessee Titans. Can't trust Tennessee, guys. Even though the Bengals have been struggling, they need a feel-good W, and I think today they get that feel-good W. So, first leg of the lock of the week, the Bengals money line versus the Tennessee Titans. Second leg of the lock of the week, we have the Chiefs money line over the Cleveland Browns. The Chiefs are just too lucky, and they're too consistent, guys, so that's why I'm picking them over the Cleveland Browns. Third leg of the lock of the week, we have the Baltimore Ravens. We have the Baltimore Ravens money line versus the New York Giants. Probably the easiest pick of the week, of course. Realistically speaking, if you're looking at the matchups, obviously the Giants are trying to lose. Ravens obviously need a W to stay consistent and stay atop the playoff race. So definitely the Baltimore Ravens money line there. That is the third leg. Fourth leg of the lock of the week. I hate that I'm doing this, but the Denver Broncos money line versus the Indianapolis Colts. As we mentioned before, guys, the Broncos defense is super solid. The Colts offense is mid at best, as the kids like to say today. Mid, okay? Broncos get the W, man. They are going to get 10 wins this season, and I'm going to owe my boy Griff $10. We had a bet earlier in the season they wouldn't get to 10 wins. Doesn't look like I'm going to win that bet. You know, I still got faith. They could win this game and lose the next 3, looking at their schedule. So, who knows, man? But that is the lock of the week, guys. Again, plus 214 odds. Bengals money line, Chiefs money line, Baltimore Ravens money line, and the Denver Broncos money line. Plus 214 odds. Go double up your money, guys. Go double up your money. Now, let's get into the juicy parlay of the week, man. Let's get into it. At the time of the bet, guys, this was plus 1,344 odds. Of course, for any of you that haven't tuned in, any juicy parlays we do on the pod will always be plus 1,000 odds or more. Let's get into the juicy parlay. Starting off, the first leg of the juicy parlay is my Dallas Cowboys money line versus the Carolina Panthers. Now, guys, the disrespect here is disgusting against the Cowboys, okay? This is the first time in 32 games, so essentially 2 full seasons, that the Carolina Panthers are favored in a football game. Give me a break, guys. Give me a break, all right? I know they've been playing better, but you see the Cowboys have been playing better too. We're going to stomp the Carolina Panthers, all right? So that's the first leg of the juicy parlay for the disrespect. The Cowboys money line. Second leg of the juicy parlay, guys, we are taking the Commanders. Washington Commanders money line today versus the Saints, okay? Now, the Commanders have been struggling, but I think they have a good matchup positionally versus the Saints. The Saints have multiple cornerbacks out. Their star safety, Tyrann Mathieu, is questionable right now and may be out. So I think Jaden Daniels has a solid game this week, and that's why he's getting the start in my fantasy league this week. And the Commanders take a W versus the Saints. That is the second leg of the juicy parlay. Third leg of the juicy parlay, we have the Los Angeles Chargers money line, guys, versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay needs a win to stay atop of their division. The Chargers need a win to stay in the wild card mix and potentially pass up the Broncos if the Broncos were to potentially lose to the Indianapolis Colts. So, you know, I think this is a huge game for them. I think they are going to step up, and that's why I'm taking the Chargers money line over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Fourth leg, guys, of the juicy parlay of the week. I am taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the terrible towels in the game of the week money line versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I know Philly's been on a roll, guys, but so has Pittsburgh. I got Pittsburgh money line, man. You know, this is a very tough matchup, but that's why the juicy parlay odds are so high, guys. We're hoping it swings in our favor. And, you know, I think Pittsburgh has a better matchup. I think Mike Tomlin is going to outcoach Nick Sirianni, which is typical and what happens to Nick Sirianni in very big games in most cases, okay? So that's more so why I'm taking the Pittsburgh money line, is I think Nick Sirianni will get outcoached if this game stays close, which I think it will. So that is the fourth leg of this juicy parlay, guys. So the juicy parlay, juicy parlay, plus 1,344 at the time of the bet, guys. Cowboys money line, Commanders money line, Chargers money line, and Pittsburgh Steelers money line. That is the juicy parlay of the week. That is the NFL picks of the week. This has been the chat for the week. As always, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope everybody has a good Sunday. If you haven't, make sure you follow on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever y'all got, man. Stay prayed up, stay blessed. I appreciate y'all. We out.